is what we want to know. What made you go to Egypt? Why Egypt? Why all of a sudden just leave?
Okay, where do we start? SubhanAllah. So, Abdi, you know this, but our listeners probably don't know. But since high school, and even a little bit before high school,
Yeah.
I always wanted to learn more about Islam. Okay, that was the foundation.
That's true.
Learn about your religion. Like I said, we mentioned on the podcast as well, if you go in our earliest episodes, how I didn't grow up learning as much of the deen as a lot of these Somali kids tend to. Wallahu alam. I don't know. That's the perception I get. Like a lot of these kids, Allahumma barik, they put in duksi, they memorize the Quran very early age and stuff like that. For me, my journey with that was very inconsistent. My duksi was inconsistent and stuff like that. Parents moved around a lot. So it was kind of tough. But once I became a teenager and alhamdulillah moved back into Seattle, Washington, because I was living in California where there's not a lot of Somalis, not a lot of Muslims in my area, the area I was living at, that I was able to reconnect. And I realized there was a gap between the idea of name Islam and actually believing and practicing Islam. I realized, like nowadays people say, oh, I'm practicing Muslim. So, okay, what does that mean? You know, it's a real conversation. What is that? What is, like, that's the gap that I saw. So I said, okay, I want to practice my religion more. This was teenage years. Alhamdulillah, now we're older, you know what I'm saying, talking about. So it was in the back of my mind. It wasn't until after I graduated college. Yeah. Because I was told, wait till you finish college. And then you could go study, you know, whatever you want to do. So I did what I could when I was here. Sheikh Fuad, alhamdulillah, may Allah reward him immensely. He was my teacher. He was, mashallah, going through books with us and stuff like that. And he encouraged us. Yeah. Brothers, Egypt, you know, go study. Like that was the number one thing. Study. Learn your religion. And I think it's more important than ever in our generation, in the situation that we're at. So alhamdulillah, bro, Egypt is a spot. Like when I tell you Egypt, it's a place that's known for Arabic. Did you hear this? Like brothers who go there and study.
I've heard that before, yeah.
And I'm sure other brothers or sisters as well have heard this idea of Egypt being the spot. True. It's very cheap. Yeah. It's very convenient because there's Marakiz everywhere. There's mashallah ulama. There's a lot of teachers and stuff like that. So alhamdulillah, there's a lot of benefit, especially in the Arabic language. So yeah, I was there for a year. Okay. Plan to go back. Yeah, inshallah. After about 3 months. You know?
No, yeah, because to me, like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I do agree with you when you say like how we do need it, especially in our generation. Because I feel that like that hit me. Right. Because it's like that's something I deal with, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I have struggles. Still have struggles sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Right. And just trying to find the right path. And I feel like eventually, this guy's been trying to drag me down there. Tell me, come pull up,
check it out.
Pull up. I think I will go one day, inshallah. I've always questioned myself, like, okay, if I go, what am I doing it for?
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So that's something that I feel like I still have to ask myself, you know? Right. And like, because really, I still have yet to figure out who really Abdul Karim is. I know who I am, but eventually, like, the more, you know, the how do I say, there's still more layers to mine that I have yet to uncover. Right.
You learn more about yourself and all that.
Yeah, and I feel like that's one thing that I want to work on really hard. I feel like I talk about it a lot, but it's something that I want to pride myself on, just understanding exactly who I am.
Right. I get you. So, and that is what I think made Egypt such a life-changing experience. I'm not even playing with you because you're isolated from everybody else. You don't have all your family there. I was by myself. I didn't have, you know, it was just very quiet. You're left with your thoughts. And also then you got your studies. And my studies was primarily Arabic and then Quran secondary. Yeah. But it was primarily Arabic. And you just learn the nuances of your own personality. But here's another thing, like, to motivate some of the people who are interested in going to a place like Egypt and stuff like that. So when I was at the institute I stayed at, it had a room and board. So I was living in the place that the school was at. So yeah, I would just take an elevator. I come down to my class, very convenient. I was in the city known as Muqattam. They say Muqattam. They don't pronounce the qaf in the Arabic or the Egyptian dialect. And it's like the outskirts of where a lot of the brothers at. A lot of the brothers, they stay at Medina to Nasr. So those who are familiar, who research, they'll probably be aware of this stuff.
Yeah.
But basically, it's like a huge city where a lot of these institutes, Fajr Institute, Ibana Institute, Lisan al-Arab, all these institutes that are known for, it's all very close within proximity. And then here I am, all the way in the outskirt. Literally. Yeah, it was weird. Even when I would visit Medina to Nasr, some brothers recognized me from the podcast. They was like, "Assalamu alaikum, what do you do in Egypt?" Alhamdulillah, I'm studying all this stuff. We chopped it up. And we was hooping and all that. When I first got there, especially, we was hooping. Right? There's a nice basketball court, outside basketball court. I met a bunch of wonderful brothers. They was telling me, "You have to come out here. You have to stay out here." I even ran into Sheikh Hassan. He is on Instagram. He's pretty well known on Instagram, Twitter, I believe. I met him out there. Wow. You know, and he told me that he was aware of the podcast, and I was already following him. So I saw him at a smoothie shop.
How was that?
So it was crazy, bro. I was like, bro, I ran into several brothers that was like, whoa. We know Ustad Sheikh Abdullah Shire. He's a brother who teaches, mashallah, Mabarak at Maif. I linked him up over there. He was already in Egypt for, I believe, 4 years, and he just came back around the time that I was there. So I ran into these brothers. So alhamdulillah, bro, it was very, very amazing. But the reason why I brought this up, I don't know, I went on a tangent, is that in that institute, I ran into older brothers. I'm talking like 60, 50 years old. Yeah. Several of them, Nigeria, Malaysia. And Abdi, I'm telling you, they would be studying the same curriculum as us, Arabi Bayni Yadayk. For those who know, right? And some of them, you would see, especially the elders, they would struggling. But mashallah, they were trying so hard. And I don't want to say the names of them because some of them I got very close to, you know. They would invite us to their room, their apartment, and they would cook for us, you know. Especially one Malaysian brother, may Allah reward him immensely. Yes, and he was already there, I think, for like 9 months. Before I got there. And he said to us, he sat down with all of us young brothers, some brothers that I know in the city. He motivated us. He said, look, what you guys are doing right now, there's nothing better at your time, at your age right now, than what you're doing. Because when you get older, if you had it in the back of your mind, you know, I would really love to understand what the Quran is saying. I would really love to understand what the Prophet ﷺ is saying. I really want to understand my deen more. But then you prolong it. You get married. You have kids. You have a house. You have bills. Your life. Like I've been here for what, 3 weeks almost already in Seattle, and my life is moving. You know, and it's crazy. So you look up, then you're like 40, 50. And so you have this thing that you always wanted to do. I would motivate them. If you have it in you, it's a perfect time, especially this age. That's true.